Alright, Internet, let's talk Morbius. This is a non-spoiler review. This will give nothing away. I will be referencing the post-credit scenes, but I won't be describing what they are, even though they're all over the internet. And yes, in full disclosure, I have been working with Sony to help release this film. I've been helping promote this film. I did the junket for this film. I saw this film quite a little while ago, and I did host the red carpet LA premiere screening of The Americas across 9 cities and 5 countries, and I was honored to do so, but it was not in any way part of my contract to promote my opinion of the films. This is my opinion as it was any review I've ever given on this YouTube. There was no money exchange for this opinion because I want to give my personal opinion because I do think there's something very important about Morbius in that I want people to see it for a very specific reason. So yes, me, Sony, often team up, but also yes, this is my opinion without any sort of bias other than my experience of the film. I shaped this opinion before the premiere, before I even knew I was doing the premiere. So I think the more different types of comic book content we get, the better. I think the more things we get that are as highbrow and eloquent and almost artsy as your Eternals and your Logan and films of that ilk, as your space operatic comedy musicals like Guardians, as your heist, very intense political thrillers like Winter Soldier, all of those things, as your nostalgia-driven but heartfelt action dramedies as No Way Home. All of these films are completely different, and the only thing that connects them, other than some of them have shared universes, the only thing that connects them is that they're based off comic books. But if you read comic books, you know that comic books are like saying books are the same. You can pick up a Spider-Man comic that's Amazing Spider-Man, and it'll feel different than Spectacular Spider-Man, or Web of Spider-Man, or Ultimate Spider-Man, much less picking up a Batman book and comparing it to a Spider-Man book, much less picking up a Morbius comic and comparing it to anything else. So the difficulty is, the strength of the MCU is that it is one giant cohesive show. It's a long-form show. These are 2-hour episodes. It is serialized as a giant bit of content. That is not demeaning it. It is one of my favorite universes to live in, but it's serialized like a show, and they can even retroactively fix things in that long form. I'm saying all of this about the other universes because that's what everyone is comparing this to, and that isn't what this is. This is the Sony universe of Marvel characters, so if you're going to look at it, put it in terms of Venom, put it in terms of being outside a giant shared universe. It's putting itself together a la the early days of the DCEU, a la the early days of any universe coming together, but it's chasing the difficulty of sharing a character like Spider-Man. So I went into it enjoying that it felt like an 80s vampire movie and a 90s action movie. That it felt like when I used to go to Blockbuster and rent movies, when I used to go to like Hollywood Videos, when I used to catch movies on TV, but with today's technology and with today's actors. I personally wanted a fun vampire movie more than I wanted a movie that felt like I had to do homework. I'm a comic book expert. Literally, it's my job. Most people aren't. Most people don't get every Easter egg and reference. Most people don't get all the little details. I think this is a very approachable film. I don't think it deserves the rating it has on Rotten Tomatoes. I think a lot of those critics... Now, Rotten Tomatoes is tricky because it's not a 17% quality film. It's, as of now, it's at 17%. It's 83 out of 100 critics did not think it passed for them. And I don't know those people, a lot of them. And I don't know why they didn't enjoy it, and I didn't take the time to read them all. But I do know that a lot of people I've talked to are comparing it to the Marvel Universe over here. I didn't, and I got a lot out of it. I don't want this whole thing to be me comparing it, so I'm just going to talk about the actual movie going forward, but I do think that's a big hindrance for a lot of people. Go in wanting the Lost Boys. Go in wanting Daywalkers. Go in wanting that Ethan Hawke. No, that is Daywalkers. Go in wanting 80s and 90s vampire films. You're going to have a great time. If that's the kind of movie you want to watch. If that's not your kind of movie, it might not be for you. And then if you add the Venom elements to that, if you add this fun universal monster movie, pulpy, self-aware, sardonic, almost slapstick, comedic, while being very dark and claustrophobic, if you add that to Lost Boys, you got Morbius. So if you like both Venom, as I do, and Lost Boys as I do, then you will get a lot of that in this film, I think, because then you and I probably have similar tastes. I would put this personally, for me, it's Venom 1, Morbius, Venom 2, as far as where we are right now with the Sony universe of Marvel characters. Breaking it down, I thought the directing was really fun in how taut and claustrophobic it was, but also how science-based it was. It did feel like Morbius, the living vampire. I like how much it tried to separate itself from some of the vampire myths. I like how it addressed those. I thought the directing was really well paced. There was a little bit in the second act that felt a little slow, and there was a little bit in the third act that felt like it kind of ended abruptly. Those are my only real pacing issues. It's definitely paced a little differently than a lot of three-act films, but I still enjoyed the way it told the story, and I got as much out of it as I could. I also do feel like there were things that were cut, perhaps because this movie was supposed to come out before No Way Home. Also feel like things were changed over the course of the 2 years it's been delayed. Those things I can't hold the movie negative for personally. I don't hold the movie, it's not fair to the movie to be like, well, screw that, the pandemic happened, we can't change that. So as far as the actors, Jared Leto is Michael Morbius, man. I can't see anyone else in this role. The dude has an air about him. He has this ethereal quality. He has a stillness. He has an odd way of having a gaze that pierces your soul. Having just worked with him for the release of this film, I can say that. And it's not an insult. It's just he's very intense. And I think that's the strength of Michael Morbius. He's a guy that swore a Hippocratic oath, that wants to help people, that has a thirst to hurt people. That's a fun conflict of character. And I feel like Jared Leto found that in this character. I feel like talking to the actors who worked with Jared Leto, they never met Jared Leto till they wrapped. They met Michael Morbius because that's how he does his acting. And this guy I saw was Michael Morbius. This is a character that I've read since I was 5 years old, and I got to see him on screen, and that's a huge part of why I love this movie. At the end of the day, I never thought we'd get a Michael Morbius movie. At the end of the day, I never thought we'd see half of these characters on screen. I'm always going to be happy. Do I have rose-colored glasses? Maybe, but I would so much rather have rose-colored glasses than not enjoy shit because I'm comparing it. Comparison is the thief of joy. I like loving shit. I love loving shit, so I'm going to keep loving shit. And I loved the experience of seeing Morbius on screen. Matt Smith, for me, was the MVP of this film. He stole every scene he was in. He got the Lost Boys memo. When he and I spoke, he definitely is as big a fan of Lost Boys as I am. The dude was having fun. The dude was at play. The dude had a sense of childlike wonder. The dude embodied this character and made it his own. You've got Tyrese Gibson and Al Madrigal, who are the fun, like the subplot of the film. There's a B-plot running alongside it the whole time. They add a certain world growth. They add a certain commentary to the outside world beyond our main science story. Very, very service parts, but they made it their own. Tyrese got to be in a Marvel movie, and he was overjoyed to be in a Marvel movie. His pride to be in a Marvel movie just radiates out of him. Al Madrigal is a Daily Show legend. Seeing him get to play in the world of comic books as a comic book fan, as a man who's writing a comic book. Him and John Leguizamo have a comic book called Primo. The dude loves comics so much he's making his own. So they're invested. Tyrese and Al Madrigal super invested. And then my breakout performer of this film, Adria Arjona, I did not know until this film. I'd seen her in Six Underground and Triple Frontier, but I didn't really know her work. Blew me away. The foundational relationship between her and Michael Morbius is so important to the story, and she nailed it. She's so captivating. She's so interesting. I talked to her about medical jargon on the red carpet, and I asked her, what did she get most out of playing a doctor, out of learning all that jargon, out of figuring out all that science? And she said hope, how important it was to realize doctors want to help. And I was like, that is inspiring as fuck. I love that answer. It was a longer, more articulate answer, but the foundation of it was hope. She discovered hope in playing this character, and I just fucking love that. She seems like this very positive, jubilant, wonderful actress. So I'm going to follow her, whatever she does, whatever she's got next. So directing, acting, enjoyed all that. I will say my negatives are, I didn't like the post-credit scenes. I did think that deterred from the film. You take those post-credit scenes out, this goes up half a letter grade for me. As it stands now, I give this movie a B-, C+. C is a movie. C+ is I had fun. I won't watch it often. B- is starting to rewatch territory. B+ is holy crap, this movie's exceptional. A's I give very, very rarely. Those are movies I own. If it's an A, I own it. I will own this because it's a character I love dearly, but it did have some flaws for me. It did have some things I felt were missing. And then on top of that, the post-credit scenes did drop it down to where that that B, C+ level. It might have been a B without those scenes. I did feel like they were trying to clamor to do the thing that now it's being compared to. I think without those scenes, the comparisons would not have been as loud. I think they didn't feel in the film. I did think they felt like they were trying. They felt like they were trying, and the movie didn't feel like it was trying until then. Doing and trying are different things. And unlike Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. Sometimes people try. And that those things hurt the film. I also feel like there were some pacing things, as I said earlier, that just felt a little off. But overall, man, I got to see Dr. Michael Morbius on the screen, a character I've loved for over 2 decades. I got to see a movie with really cool stylized 80s and 90s vampire action. I got to see a love letter to the Lost Boys and that era of filmmaking. I got to see a movie that takes place in a universe that I'm very excited to see expand out. And then separate of that, I got to work on it. So I will always look on this experience fondly. If you've made it 11 minutes into a review, you're probably interested, in my opinion, more than the people that watched the first 5. I will be posting as soon as I can. I think Sony's going to let me have the experience of the release I got to do. So I'm hoping to be able to post that on my page. The experience of sharing this with the Americas, with 9 cities and 5 countries. We were in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We were in Argentina. We were in Bogota. We were in Dallas, Salt Lake City, Chicago. We were everywhere, and it was such an honor. And I got to interview the cast. I got to hang out with everybody. I got to really be a part of something that means a lot to me. So hoping to share that with you guys as soon as possible. Hopefully this weekend, if not early next week. But in closing, go in. If you like The Lost Boys and if you like Venom, go in with that in mind. Don't go in with other comic movies in mind. And don't go in with the 17% in mind. And hey, I'm not telling you have to see it. I'm not telling you have to. I am saying I enjoyed it. I am saying that I enjoyed it for those reasons. I am saying it's getting an overwhelming amount of crap that it doesn't deserve. B- C+ for me. I was smiling a lot. I was happy a lot. It is a new kind of Marvel movie, more akin to Venom, and it is something that I personally enjoyed because I'm a vampire movie guy and I'm a Morbius guy, and it's good to see Jared, Matt, Adria, everyone get to play and get to play in a vampire, sandbox. So I had fun. Thanks to Sony for believing in me. Thanks to Marvel for signing off with Sony to make this shared universe possible. And thanks to everyone for getting 12 minutes into review. So, yeah. I'm very curious how this all shakes out as we look back at this film, but I'm glad it's out. I look forward to seeing it again. I'm prepared for the shit I'm going to get in the comments about liking everything. You guys notice I only do a couple reviews a month. I watch 20 movies a month. I don't like all 20 of those movies. I don't do 20 reviews a month. There's plenty I don't like. But it takes thousands of artists, tens of thousands of hours to make a movie. I have no goals to shit talk people. Unless someone's paying me to critique, and I'm not a critic, I'm not going to shit talk a movie. So if I don't like it, you won't see it. And I don't like everything. I did like this. So form your own opinion. Go check out Morbius if you so choose. And if you so choose, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff other people say. Share. Also follow me on TikTok for shorter reviews of stuff I like and all sorts of behind-the-scenes footage from me doing the red carpet experience. I got a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff up over there. Follow me on Instagram for behind-the-scenes as well. And keep supporting me so I can keep making cool stuff because I love sharing the experience of all this with you guys. So, much love. Enjoy Morbius, hopefully you got as much out of it as I did. I haven't slept much this week, so a little wordy. Apologies. Much love. Check out Morbius. C+, B-. Had a good time. All right, see you guys soon.